Memphis Magazine is one of the top 100 business people in Memphis. So, Coletta, who's the president of Memphis River Parks Partnership.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. Mayor Strickland tapped Alan to chair the Riverfront Steering Committee in 2017, I think, to take 100, literally 100 years of plans for the riverfront, most of which had never been executed, to bring that into, to evaluate those plans and to say what is still relevant today and where do we go. And based on that work that was released in I think 2018, we were able to take that, make sense of it, and get a good start on our riverfront. There's a lot more to be done, but I want to just spend a few minutes tonight just to tell you where we are. 94% of people who have visited Tomley Park say they believe it rates good or excellent on cleanliness. 88% say they judge safety good or excellent in Tomley Park. And I'm excited about that because Memphis needs safe spaces. Memphis needs places where people can feel comfortable and they can interact with others, and that is what Tomley Park has become. In fact, this one kind of blows my mind, and I've got to get into it. 57% of people who have visited Tomley Park in the first couple of months say they made a new friend, they met someone new. I want to say that one of the things that we set out to do with Tomley Park was not just to build a great park for Memphians and for visitors to our city, but we really wanted to spread the word that Memphis is a town that is ambitious and can achieve great things. Ambitious, and we persist, and we kind of shut out the noise. We can do great things in this city. We did a study with Alan again in charge, the future of Mud Island Park. Mud Island is unique. There is nothing like it. And if you mess it up, you've probably messed it up forever. There's a huge opportunity cost to doing the wrong thing on Mud Island. So there's something about incrementalism. Go slow, don't get impatient with what you do with Mud Island. I will say, I will report a couple of three things. One, the city, thank you Shirley, from Accelerate Memphis provided $4 million to do some basic improvements on Mud Island with lighting, escalators, elevators, heating, cooling, etc. So fixing some tiles and so forth. But I mean, again, keep in mind, $230 million in today's dollars is the cost of Mud Island. So $4 million is kind of like a drop in the bucket. What we're trying to do is invest in the basics of Mud Island so that no matter what the long-term use is, the money we invest will not go to waste. Also, I just mentioned three other projects really quickly, or two other projects quickly. One is at the south end of the park, there was imagined an observation deck jutting, sort of coming out over the river. We call it the Flyway. We received a $3.7 million EDA, Economic Development Administration grant from the federal government. We got another $500,000 from a national foundation in California, based in California. So we continue to try to get that funded, but there's a clock running on us. This is Memphis. When we decide we want to be ambitious, right? When we decide, we're going to get a robust public-private partnership to do good things in Memphis, we can do them. That's the riverfront. I'm excited. I hope you are too. And if you got any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. Yes.
Can you go into more detail about three items with Mud Island? The monorail, Gulf of Mexico, and the amphitheater.
We just replaced all the pumps in the Riverwalk, which of course the Gulf of Mexico is at the end of. We're replacing the concrete. There were leaks all in the Gulf of Mexico, so we've corrected those. But you cannot chlorinate properly the Gulf of Mexico, the way the circulation is. So it's not made for swimming, although people try to swim in it. It's not chlorinated. Do not swim in the Gulf of Mexico. All right, number two, you asked about the monorail. The monorail, this is interesting. The monorail was built by two companies they got together, a Swiss and I think an Italian company, to build a monorail, so there's no company left. The one guy who could fix it would fly in on his own plane, land on the harbor, jump out, fix the monorail, and go home. 2 people to run the 2 people on, you always had to staff it, and then there were people who had to get people on and off. It's extraordinarily expensive to run. So if there is to be a monorail, now keep in mind, the monorail was built for Mud Island, as Alan's pointed out, when there was no A.W. Willis Bridge, right? So, I mean, everything, there was no harbor town, everything has changed. But if we're to have a monorail, we need to upgrade it, we need to ditch that one and upgrade it considerably. And then the amphitheater. The amphitheater has 4,000 very tiny seats with very tiny restrooms that you would not want to go in, even if they were redone as they are today. The question about the monorail is, do we have an operator investor who knows what they want in an amphitheater? We are really reluctant to invest any money into the amphitheater until we have a partner who says, yes, I'm going to put 30, 35 concerts in there every year, and now the investment's worth it. But until then, we don't know what the investor wants. I was walking through with someone the other day, and they said, well, maybe all this music, if we want music, maybe it should be on the south field. I don't know. I don't produce music events. But I think we need a smart partner who does, who's got skin in the game, who can tell us what they need.
What were the aesthetic qualities and what were the pieces that brought you to what we have today? Can you tell us a little bit about how you got there? Because it's amazing.
That's a really interesting question. And, I am not a designer, so I put my faith in good designers. And that, I think we need to do more of that, is, like make sure you hire, the best talent in all of our business, right? What makes your talent work? What makes your business work? Great talent. And I think that's the same thing that makes public space work. And in this case, we hired people, I think, who had a real feel for the uniqueness of the Mississippi River and its habitat, and to grow that, and a great sense of how people operate in space. I mean, we hired 2 very famous women-led teams, but they're both very humble, always learning, and they really understood, I think, what the program ought to be because of the work that we did and they did with us pre any design, talking to people from the community. There you go.
Let's give Carol a clap.